move forward with together. I would really appreciate if, right now that we're on Zoom, rather than speaking over each other, we can just make sure that we can, raise our hands if anything is to happen, or in order to establish an order so that no one is talked over. And, just making sure that I always will encourage, with public comment, that people use respectability with one another, and, attacking ideas, not the person, and calling people in, because ultimately, like, we want to be as restorative as possible and hold each other to that standard as we hold other students or people that come in to do public comment. So I would hope that we do the same. And if anyone has anything to add, now is the time. If not, that is all. Okay, thank you. So moving on to the agenda, are there any amendments to the agenda?
Can we scrap the SWC programming fund allocation?
Can we also, oh, sorry. Was someone go? Oh, can we also strike TGIF?
Can you also strike ARC allocations, please?
Can we strike capital contingency as well, please?
Okay, I think that's all the amendments to the agenda. We need a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a motion?
I motion to approve the agenda.
A second?
I second.
Okay, promised motions, and I think Jane, did you second? Okay. Promised motion, Jane seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. Okay, perfect. By a vote of 14 to 0 to 0. Wait, it's 4. No, it's 13. By a vote of 13 to 0 to 0, the motion, or the amendment, the agenda is approved. Moving on to the approval of the minutes from last week. Not sure what date that was.
5/11.
5/11, perfect. May 11th, hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to review the minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So Breeze, just a reminder, Madison just put it in there as well. You have 2 sets of meetings that you need to approve. So we'll want to distinguish so it's clear of which set we're voting on. So you have to vote in the old board minutes and then your new board minutes that you had. So both sets of minutes need to be voted in on.
Okay, question. Would this council be able to, though, like, vote on the last one? Because I don't know if they were all present at that.
They would abstain if they were not present.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So should I say like the first half of the meeting?
Yeah, you could call it like the old board and then your very first meeting of the new board.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to approve that. We will start off with the old board on May 11th, right? We said May 11th. Is there a motion?
I motion to approve the minutes from May 11th from the board.
Perfect. A second, please.
I second.
Okay, Tay motions, Maya seconds. All in favor, please raise your hands. And Promise, you're abstaining, right?
No, I'm voting yes, sorry.
Okay, no worries. By a vote of 13 to 0 to 0, the agenda for the old board is approved. Now we're gonna vote on the new board. So we're going to be voting on the agenda for the new board, which is you guys, for the meeting minutes of May 11th. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the meeting minutes from the new board's council meeting on May 11th.
Perfect. Thank you, Arman. A second?
I second.
Okay, Irman motions, Promise seconds. All in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, perfect. By a vote of 13-0, the agenda for the new board for May 11th is approved. Okay, now we will be moving on to public comment. Public comment are 30 minutes where are allocated in order to allow any students that may have concerns to come up and present any issues. Each public commenter gets 2 minutes and may only speak once. We want to remind folks who may be giving public comment the importance of challenging ideas, not individuals, using gender inclusive and respectable language. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from accountability, and each speaker will have 2 minutes and the opportunity to speak once. No dehumanizing language. If you are someone in the public who would like to give a comment at this point in time, please raise your hand and our IVP cast will be promoting you.
I just promoted someone to be a panelist.
You may go ahead and go.
Hi. Hi, everyone. My name is Rada. I am the newly elected chair for CalPIRG students, here to share you on our newest updates. First off, we just elected our new board of directors and executive committee for next year. And as you all know, except the members of the public, CalPIRG is a student-run group in California that started more than 45 years ago. And we work to take action within the public interest and give students a voice in issues that they care about, such as protecting the environment and public health. And I got involved with CalPIRG and the chair of it because I'm a person who was marginalized and pushed away from areas of advocacy in the past. I can still remember my voice being taken away from me when my ballot was taken away from me on my first election. And this was a place where I was able to amplify my voice on our campus when I didn't have a voice on issues for a long time. And as a student-run, student-funded group, we have the ability to win big campaigns for mobilizing our state to 100% clean electricity by 2045 to addressing affordability. And I'm now going to tell you about our pledge drive and our accomplishments for that. Just a few weeks ago, we finished our quarterly pledge drive. Pledge is a very crucial part of our organization because it gives us the ability to raise funds so we can be trained by our staff in order to be powerful activists, have resources to win big campaigns, such as our ability to ban plastic bags in California, to protect our oceans, and continue strengthening the student voice on issues that they care about. And statewide, we have more than 30,000 students that pledged with us. That is 30,000 student voices supporting our move to 100% clean energy by 2030. And at UCLA, we raised 354 new student pledging members out of our goal of 325. And this is a huge accomplishment and wouldn't have been possible without the power of students striving for a clean, greener world to push for 100% clean energy by 2030. And lastly, I wanted to say congratulations to our new USAC board. I can't wait to see all of the inspiring work that you all will do this next year.
Thank you so much, Radha. Awesome. If there is no one else who will be giving public comment, we will be moving on to funding now. Oh, and Radha, you're free to stay or leave. I mean, yeah, anything, it's up to you. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on, we will begin with contingency fund allocations.
Hi, everyone. So this week we had a total amount requested of $10,880.75 and a total amount recommended of $5,592.96 to 12 non-USAC entities and 1 USAC entity. And I will send that in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you, David. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Going once, going twice. If there are no questions, is there a motion to approve the contingency fund allocations for USAC and non-USAC entities? Non-USAC offices?
I motion to approve a contingency allocation of $5,592.96 to 12 non-USAC and one USAC entity.
Okay, can I hear a second, please?
I second a motion.
Okay, perfect. So promise. Motions, Tay seconds. Can I get a vote, please? Perfect. And by a vote of 13-020, the contingency fund allocations are approved. Next up, Bruin Advocacy Grant. This is just a consent item. Josh, I'm gonna speak to you on that. Would that mean that we just have to approve it? Like I just need to get them to vote on it?
Yep, so it should be presented of how much it is and where it's going to. And then you ask if there's any opposition. If anyone has opposition, it would then not pass or there would be discussion. If there is no opposition, then it passes. Does that make sense? So it should be presented first of how much money is being distributed and to where. And then the board, if there's any opposition, they need to speak up. If there's no opposition, then it passes.
Okay, yes, perfect. Actually, Cash just reminded me I skipped SFS. Sorry,
You're good. You're good.
Okay, is SFS is actually one that would go to a vote, right?
SFS is also, no, there's no vote. It would just be an opposition. If there's opposition.
Okay, so SFS, whoever, can someone?
Yeah, so for SFS this week, we had $3,000 requested and then a recommended allocation of $1,500 to 0 CSC orgs and 1 non-CSC org. And I will also put that in the chat.
Okay, perfect. Is there any opposition? Any questions? Okay, so that would just mean that this funding is approved, right, Josh?
If there's no opposition, it passes.
Okay, so given that there's no opposition, the 1,500 is approved for 1 non-CSC organization. Moving on to, back to where we were to, I believe we were, sorry, I'm trying to find myself right now.
We just finished SFS, so, and SWC was crossed out, so we would move on to Bruin Advocacy.
Okay, perfect. Moving on to Bruin Advocacy. This is also a consent item. So whoever is in charge of Bruin Advocacy Grant, please.
This is Bruin Advocacy Grant for AAC.
I think that's for EVP.
Yeah, I believe it is as well. AAC is ASRSNT. Yes, of course, Sarah.
So Breeze, just in this situation, can you just announce to those that are watching or listening of what's actually happening? That Sarah is typing it in the chat, so yeah.
She's just striking it from the agenda.
Great.
Okay, so just so everyone is aware, Sarah will be striking Bruin Advocacy Grant from the agenda. Moving on to I believe that is it for, oh God. I believe that is it. I know that Angie had said that she wanted to strike ASRF and TGMF.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you.
Hold on, my laptop's giving me a few issues right now. Is there any other funding that we have to go over for right now?
All others have been stricken unless, yeah, all others have been stricken. So we would move on to special presentations.
Perfect. Moving on to special presentations then. Unless, hold on. Okay, so my laptop isn't giving me really, like, my Google Docs isn't working, so I can't really see my agenda right now. Can someone send that to me, please? I was working off of my own doc.
I sent it in the chat.
Okay, Daily Bruins presentation is first step.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, so I think that the Daily Bruin presentation would need to be promoted. Can someone please raise their hand, whoever is from their behalf?
I did promote them and they're unmuted right now.
Okay, is it okay for me to start right now? Okay, so hi everybody, nice to see you all. My name is Guillaume, I'm a third year history student and both an international literature student. I'll also be the campus politics editor at Daily Bruin for next year. First of all, I wanted to congratulate all of you for having been elected. I was covering this year's election, so I followed many of yours of campaigns and once again an online election this year. So to which I know brought many difficulties. So congratulations for making it to next year's council. So basically the purpose of my presentation today, which is going to be very brief, is to formally introduce myself to everybody on council and talk about a few things that I think you'll find valuable to know. So the first thing is I would like to talk about the difference between news and opinion within the Daily Bruin. So the opinion section, as well as the editorial board, does not represent news or the paper as a whole. Our work is completely separate and we follow different journalistic procedures. We do not make any opinions in the news section as we have the duty to remain objective. If you would like to submit an op-ed or letter to the editor, please contact Sabrina Huang, the opinion editor. I will also send an email to all of you later tonight, recapitulating what I'm talking about today, and you will have all my contact information, email, phone number, everything you will need. So one of my goals is to have a direct line of communication with all of you so we can have a great collaborative relationship this year. So please feel free to contact me for any questions you might have on campus politics or anything that your office is working on if you achieved one of your platforms or any information that you think would be worth for us to cover. So that's pretty much it. Just I wanted to talk about. Thank you for having me today, and I'm available right now for questions you have that are campus politics related.
Thank you so much. So if anyone has any questions right now that they would like to ask. Natalia, is that an old hand? Oh, then you can go ahead and ask your question.
Sorry, I forgot to put down my hand.
Okay, no worries. Any comments, concerns? Okay, if not, thank you so much. And you are free to email us, message us whenever you would like. Thank you. Okay, moving on to a special presentation from the mother organizations.
I'll be promoting some leaders from the MOs right now. Okay, let me see. Maxine, am I missing anyone that I should be like promoting? Okay, sounds good. I think y'all can take it away now.
Okay, thank you. So hello, my name is Athena Rozier, and I am the current external vice president of Samhang Filipino. First, I'd like to thank you all for giving us this space to share our story with you. And we're here to represent the Mother Organization Coalition. So I'll pass the mic to my colleagues, Maxine and Eric, to introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for having us. My name is Maxine Dimawanta. I use she, her pronouns. I am Samhang Filipino's Access Coordinator this year and currently the Student Initiated Outreach Committee, or SIOC's chairperson. And I'll pass it to Eric.
Hello, my name is Eric. I am first year he, him pronouns, and I am the Vietnamese Student Union's incoming external vice president. And again, we'd like to thank you all for your time here today. And I'll pass it off to Maxine for a brief summary of what's going on with the mother organizations.
Thank you, Eric. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Mother Organization Coalition, we are the group on campus, different cultural organizations that represent different ethnic and racial backgrounds of historically marginalized communities on campus. After the course of a long history, about 30 years ago, we created the Campus Retention Committee, which essentially is the committee of 6 retention programs that provide peer counseling, workshops, and other retention services to historically underrepresented and marginalized students as a result of horrible retention rates back in the 80s when affirmative action was still in place, but the university was doing nothing to support our students. And so out of kind of activism from the student body and a lot of our predecessors, the CRC was born. Fast forward 10 years later, the Student Initiated Outreach Committee was born. It was a response to Proposition 209 that prohibited the use of affirmative action because we saw a tank in students of color's presence on the UC campus. And it hasn't risen since, Prop 209 has been there. But luckily, our projects were born and we provide peer advisory and peer tutoring services to students of color throughout the greater LA area. We are funded by student fees. We're entirely funded by student fees. And I want to say that one more time, we're entirely funded by student fees because our committees are student initiated, student run, student led, and student funded. And it means students, that's why the committees were born. The projects sit under the committees, but the committees themselves are the main decision makers. We are supposed to allocate all of the funding. We are supposed to make all of the executive decisions to control our projects because we know what students need, similar to the way USAC knows what students need. We're oftentimes elected by our constituency. And on top of that, it is in the spirit and written into the statements of understanding for both the CRC and the SIOC, which are governing documents. There are bylaws. They are signed by the administrators of student affairs, USAC as well, the president, the AAC, FSC, and SWC, and the committee leadership, as in the chairperson and the vice chairperson. The reason I'm giving you all of this context is that our committees and our programs have been under attack for the last 15 years by an administration who frankly does not care about us anymore, who has set up a power dynamic that strips students of their autonomy and of the jurisdiction and authority that has been granted to us throughout the bylaws, the statements of understanding. And it's been 15 years since we had started off advocating for our communities the way we know we're supposed to, because we know best. I'm sorry if I'm talking a little fast, I'm a little nervous, but that's because these programs are everything to me. Like, I don't think you all understand how much advocacy and how much passion from all of our predecessors for the last 3 decades went in to creating these programs, because we love our community so much that we couldn't bear to see the university let us and our needs be ignored. And they're doing it again, and they've been doing it for the last 3 years. Last year, USAC demanded the Community Programs Office, which is the department that houses the CRC and the SIOC, for budget transparency. I think many of you who were in this space saw that. It's all over Reddit, it's all over the internet. But at that time, nobody understood that it wasn't the committees and the project's fault. It was the administration, and the Student Affairs Administration has been complicit in the lack of transparency of budgets for the last 5 years. We are not allowed to touch $1.2 million of student fees. We've asked for budgets over and over again. Some of you who know me know we've been advocating for that all year, but they still refuse to give us itemized breakdowns of each of those budgets. No matter how many times we've asked, no matter how many resolutions are passed, letters are signed, we don't get to touch that money. On top of that, there is so much illegitimate administrative oversight in the hiring of our staff. For context, we hire student staff to do this work because this university is not going to do it for us. But because these are student-run, student-led programs, we are supposed to do the hiring. And over the course of this year, we saw that not happen. Our voices were ignored by an administration who has no idea what our communities need. It's like if your directors and your offices had to be cleared by your advisors and by the administrators over you. That's not how this works, especially when it comes to student fees. And the last part that we wanted to make known for you all today is that over the last 15 years, they've created and maintained a hostile and toxic working environment for student leaders through gaslighting us, through emotionally and mentally manipulating us, and basically obstructing transparency of not only university policy, but the budgets as well. For those of you who were in those meetings this past winter quarter, you saw the amount of trauma that our students come out of, and that is not an isolated incident. It's been 15 years of this. I know that was a lot to dump on a lot of you who, may have not been too familiar with what's been going on. But we just come here, I guess, to give you that context. And I'll throw it over to Eric in case I missed anything.
Honestly, Maxine, thank you for covering it. Thank you again for your passion. You really went over that well. I would just like to reiterate that without our project coordinators, Clear and Spear staff, we are all students as well, but we are taking on more than we're being compensated for, and we are being disrespected in all of our spaces. Please keep in mind that yes, that we are students, but our APC is taking on not only the part-time salary job of APC, but the full-time salary job of the project director as well. This trickles down to all of our students and to all of the students who receive our service. So it is really important that we have the solidarity of USAC, and that was what we're requesting. And I'll pass it off to Athena.
Yeah, so just to recap, on behalf of the Mother Organization Coalition, we'd like to ask for USAC support and demand accountability from USAC administration. So regarding what support looks like, we did reference that I think 2 years ago, USAC did release a resolution, and VMOs are willing to work with council on that and to release another resolution, really just acknowledging everything that the students have gone through and just the lack of accountability from USAC administration. Also, I think this would be more immediate, would be like a letter of solidarity from USAC Council and regarding what the MOs have planned in the future. And we'd also be willing to work with USAC Council on teaching you the full history of the MO coalition. And so really getting to understand our history, and you can better understand our community conditions. Again, we'd like to ask for your support in reclaiming student-initiated, student-run, and student-funded spaces, especially against an administration that has historically ignored our voices. And then Maxine, go ahead.
And I just want to reiterate why we're coming to you all. The money that we use to pay our students to do this work that nobody else wants to do comes from student fees. You all are stakeholders signed onto our statements of understanding, and you all are so powerful. You know that. That's why you all are here today. And your voice means so much to us, and having it back up the claims that no one else seems to be listening to. We've told this to administration time and time again for as long as I've been here and for many years before me, and they're still there. And I think I just wanted to reiterate how important it is for you all to stand in solidarity with us, especially because it's student money. That's why a lot of the drama goes down year after years, because people are so upset that we don't know where the $1.2 million in the operational budgets from the committees go to. But in all honesty, I have no idea either. And I'm the chair of the committee, and we've asked. So in order to get budget transparency, so your constituents can understand what their student fees are going to in that certain pot of money, we need you to stand with us. And if you all would like to know what our projects are doing, what every single line item that we allocate during our academic year budget proposals, feel free to email me. I have those numbers, and I have the numbers from the last 7 years in my drive, and I can share the funds with you, but we only allocate $375,000 to our programs that pay for our transportation to get to the greater LA area, our student salaries, and like snacks for our students, because food insecurity is a real thing. But we don't know where the $600,000 that Assistant Vice Chancellor DeLuca and the CPO Director Antonio Sandoval say are paying for staffing assistants. That's all they tell me. So I just wanted to bring that up again, that this is all your fight too, just because you are representatives of us. But yeah, I don't know if there's any questions from anyone on council.
Thank you so much, Maxine. Athena and Eric, I really, really appreciate, all the work that you guys do in this space. I know like I worked closely with Maxine last year, so I'm just really appreciative of all the work she does in that space. Does anyone on council have any questions? Comments, words of affirmation?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Maxine, for giving us this presentation. Thank you so much for you and all the folks like in the administration who have been like working tirelessly on this issue and like constantly like fighting. So I just your work is not in vain, and I'm just so excited to support however I can. So thank you.
Thank you. And I saw Cass's hand go first and then Arman.
I just wanted to say thank you to Athena, Maxine, and Eric for like showing up to USAC today to present this problem, because just like being an SP like this year, I've seen all the like work that Maxine and Athena and also like all the MOs have been putting into this specific issue, and it's important that like we as council does stand by this and support the MOs. And I'm just hoping that I know y'all know that I'll offer my support to the MOs, but I also just hope that all of council will do the same.
I also would like to thank Eric, Athena, and Maxine for coming today, and for your passion. I think it's really clear how important this is, not only from the hard numbers that we need to know and that our student body needs to know, but also the way that students are affected by this. The students that really do benefit from the services that students are giving to students, that we absolutely must demand is within the power of the students that gave it in the first place. So I also would like to state my support in returning this power to the students and to those who are leading these projects, and my support in this fight, and also to ask that council as a whole support the MO Coalition and these calls for transparency and student power.
Yes, I just want to echo what everyone else is saying. I also want to just say thank you so much for your time and your labor coming here today and sharing what y'all are up to. I am 100% in support of restoring and reclaiming power. And I also want to say that without these retention projects, I probably wouldn't be at UCLA today. So thank y'all so much for all your work and all your labor.
Yeah, I just want to echo what everyone else on council has been saying. Thank you so much, Maxine, Athena, and Eric, for all of your labor and advocacy. It is not going unnoticed, and I also wanted to express that I am in full support of returning all of this power back to y'all, and I stand by the MOs. So thank you.
Yeah, also echoing everything that everyone has said, Athena, Maxine, Eric, I work closely with all of you, if not in proximity too, and I know how personal and important this is to everyone. And I just want to affirm that I'm here to support you not only in internal issues, but the MOs have been close allies with the EVP office and external advocacy. So just want to emphasize that that partnership is there, and I look forward to collaborating with you guys on all of these issues at UCLA and externally.
Awesome. Okay. And Eric, Athena, Maxine, do y'all have any closing comments?
Yeah, well, we would like to thank everyone once again for their statements of support. We would like to reiterate that although the work that our projects do is super, super important, as like Taylani emphasized too, this important work should never come at the cost of the well-being of our student leaders. We would like to once again ask and reaffirm that we would very much appreciate USAC support, whether it be through a resolution that we can work on y'all with, or whether it be through a written letter in solidarity. It is imperative that we have y'all support because we are continually being silenced and being berated and gaslit. And at this point, we need all the support that we can get. So thank you guys for your time.
Of course, and thank you. And I think we can touch base after this meeting as well to see, what vision you guys rather would want us to do, either a resolution or a letter of support. And, just realizing that you have obviously yourselves, but, you have all our support fully invested in moving forward as well in all these meetings that will be coming up this summer and next year. So thank you guys so much. And you guys are free to stay or leave. It's up to y'all. Thank you so much for coming out. Moving on to appointments. I don't see that there are any. So we will be moving on. Oh, wait. Do you have to motion on this, like conclusion of special presentations? Josh?
You do not have to motion because you've already voted upon the agenda. So you can move forward.
Okay, so we will be moving on to officer reports. So I'm up first. So we released our office applications this week. I attended the Response and Recovery Task Force meeting for the first time, and they decided that the meetings will be concluding in June, but that there will still be continual discussions moving on after that. They also discussed wanting to create a collaboration with USAC and messaging that we can disperse to the student body, especially outdoors where students may not be wanting to wear masks. So when I get that messaging and, those posts that they wanted us to possibly repost, I will probably be getting in contact with all your offices and seeing what collaboration we can be doing with administration for this. Let's see. Perfect. I had a meeting regarding CAB and how to transition the new chair that we will be including this year and what restructuring looks like. And that's all for me. I've just been going ongoing transition meetings and looking into what meetings will look like in the future. I did want to mention one more thing that I didn't say earlier, that moving forward, we don't necessarily need as many officer reports. I know right now they should be short and sweet, but sometimes officer reports can get very long. So if you don't have to have an officer report, you should strike it. And it's even better if you guys actually write it all out. The only offices that are required to have an officer report are the IVP, EVP, AAC, and OP. So if you do not have the time, then that's okay. You can ask for a verbal report, but in order to save time, it's better that you write your meeting notes beforehand. And I also wanted to establish one more thing, that I'm trying to make sure that our meetings do not go past 11 p.m. ever. This year, I do not think that's healthy. We need to be focusing on our mental health before everything. So we will be moving the agenda along if meetings get really long at points, because we will be ending meetings at 11. Perfect. Or earlier, preferably not 11, but the latest it'll be 11. Yeah, I'm sorry, Josh. Josh has had to sit through 2 a.m. meetings. I'm sorry.
I will be here, but I love that we're gonna plow through.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Moving on to IVP.
Hi everyone. Okay. Sorry, my Zoom was kind of glitchy, but not too many updates because I am still like transitioning with previous IVP, but I released IVP executive staff applications and they're due May 26th. So if you can please like share that on your office, like Instagram, that would be greatly appreciated. The IVP Instagram will also be doing the same for y'all. This morning I had an committee meeting with the education work group, and they've been just discussing like plans for fall quarter, like capacity levels for in-person classes and also like remote, and talking about like what are we going to do with international students when it comes to like fall quarter and how we can support them. So there's a lot of like work going on with that. Yeah.
Okay, EVP.
We also released applications. They're due on the 23rd at 11:59 p.m. And I've been scheduling meetings with the other EVPs of the other UC campuses and with UCSA leadership, which is also transitioning out into elections for next year's board. The EVP office will also be publicizing the application link for appointed officer positions for UCSA. We'd love to have UCLA delegates apply, and would really encourage you all to share the link with your offices. I'll paste it in the chat also and send to Cassandra for distribution.
Perfect. And I see that we have the rest are written reports, if that is correct. Great. Moving on to AAC.
Hi everyone. Not too many updates from me too. I'm still in the process of transitioning, but I did release my office applications and they're due this Sunday. I've also been meeting with different offices to discuss like points of collaboration. So yeah.
Awesome. And seeing as everyone else has written, great. That concludes our officer reports. Moving on to admin reps. So I guess I'll start with you, Josh.
Friends, so this is just a friendly reminder that our first USAC GSA joint training will take place this Friday from 2 to 4. It should be on all of your calendars at this point. We have another one the following Friday. I'm so sorry, that's the Friday before Memorial Day. But we will be doing it, and it should go pretty quickly. Those are the two trainings that we have coming up. So just make sure you mark those on your calendars, and we'll see you then. I'll just let the board know, I will also then share my cell phone number and email with email is public, but I'll give everyone my cell phone number as well. So if anything does come up, you don't have to wait for these meetings to reach out. My role and Jessica's role and Fernando's role is really here to help and support you. The USAC piece, the ASU-CLA piece is really Jessica and Fernando. And the student affairs, admin, we want to talk to folks would be, and then interpretation of university policy would be my role. So we'll go a little bit more into that and how the division takes place, but don't hesitate or don't wait to ask questions. We are here to support. Thanks, Breeze.
Thank you, Josh. Jessica?
I don't really have any updates today, but I'm looking forward to seeing you all on Friday. And definitely as you're getting acclimated into your offices and, getting into the Slack workspace and getting things set up. Definitely let Fernando and I know if you needed any support with anything.
Okay, I'm a little confused because I still see Dr. Geller here, and I know Josh, you said no more Dr. Geller, so it would just be Chacon, right?
Yeah, you can remove her permanently from the agenda.
Okay, so Chacon?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. So for those who don't know, my name is George Chacon. I'm going to be the I was going to say USAC. I am the alumni rep or the representative for the Alumni Association that will be sitting on most council meetings. I can't promise every single one. But my role is here as more of a support for folks who have questions. I've sat on USAC as the Culture Affairs Commissioner all the way back in 2008. Very involved with a lot of the student groups at the time, including the Mother Or Coalition. And since I graduated in 2010, I've been doing a lot of work around racial justice, community development, community work around the Los Angeles area. So if you have any questions about my experiences or just want to bounce off ideas, I'm really available to do that for you all. I currently work at the UCLA Labor Center as a project manager, doing a lot of work with immigrant youth and providing support for leaders across the state of California. And primarily as my role with the Alumni Association is to pretty much have more connections and bridge that connection between you all and the Alumni Association. They only meet once a quarter, it seems. And so it could be a lot of information when I give it to you. But my hope is that I can give you all the information that you all need and I can provide them the information that they need, right? So I'm still trying to figure out what that balance is. Other than that, congratulations, y'all, for your second meeting. I know USAC elections are crazy, and I'm sorry I couldn't see you all at 9 p.m. last Tuesday, but I was sleeping. Again, hit me up. I'll put my email on the chat, and I'm really looking forward to work with you all in the next year.
Thank you, George. We appreciate you so much. Moving on to Fernando. Thank you so much, Fernando. I think Patty was up next, but I don't see her.
Yeah, Patty's not here this evening.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So we're done with our admin reps. We have no old business. So moving on to new business. Um, there's a few things I wanted to talk about, and I'll go quickly for the committee. For committees, I'm appointing to ARC, CRC, and BRC. Josh, does that mean those are just approval, right? If no objections, we don't even have to do a vote?
Oh gosh, I have to. So Karen Hedges is going to talk about all the appointment processes this Friday. I honestly, Breeze, I don't. Jessica, do you know?
Yeah, so I think that these are just internal council committees. So there's not a formal vote. Breeze, you can just say who you're appointing to each committee. And then, you know, if anybody has an issue fulfilling that role, then you can kind of have the discussion offline. But yeah, since they're all internal council committees, it doesn't really need a formal vote or anything like that.
Okay, perfect.
But
So
you will want to say who they are publicly.
for the Constitutional Review Committee, I will have Maya chairing, and Haley and Jane, as well as Cass. There are no objections. I'll be moving on to Appointments Review Committee. For the Appointments Review Committee, I will have Cass chairing, Erman and Taylani, and the alternate will be Sarah. And for the Budget Review Committee, I will have Promise, Emily, and Momena. Okay, perfect. And I did want to talk about something really briefly. I know that myself and Cass received an email about having our appointments sit within one application. So I did respond to that email and think last year the way council approached it was that all of our appointments were within a single application, which I think made it much easier for all of us to get appointments and, you know, ultimately select the best students together, and students that, you know, we felt as a council would best represent the issues that we really wanted to. And I really wanted to have like a really quick discussion. I know we didn't add it, but I just saw that email today. If how the council is feeling about, you know, if you do have appointments, making it one sole application, just so students, you know, don't have to go everywhere and they can find that application in one spot, which all of us would post, but it'll be in one place.
I can just say my support for that just because I know that cohesion is important. And I think when it comes to marketing, having all of our offices post the same like Google form and same like promotion materials, I think that would be super successful in getting a high applicant rate.
Erman and Jane.
Yeah, I'm also in support of this. I think it will make it a lot easier for the student body to go through that application process. I think I would just, and I'm sure this is something that, you know, we will look over as a collective, but I would want to just make sure that as much information is present as possible to make it clear for the students what each appointment not only consists of, but who is doing the appointing, just because I know that can be confusing for the student body, especially those who are not currently in USAC but might want to be serving in an appointment role. So I guess just making sure that, you know, in this sort of like total combined application that it, you know, is a really cohesive one. I think that I would just really want that, especially seeing that there's some sort of new appointment structures this year compared to last year. But yes, I also wanted to say that I'm in support of that idea.
Yeah, I agree with everyone. I was just wondering if we knew when we would be releasing that application if we did it all together, and then also if it would be roll or like there'd be different due dates because I know some appointments are like more urgent than others.
So I think that there will be different due dates. I know that I myself have to make a BOD appointment soon. So I know that we will be probably releasing those application next week latest. But of course, you will all have access to the doc, and I just want to make sure that, you know, prior to this meeting I will have tomorrow regarding that, everyone is in support of that, which overwhelmingly I sense that there is support for it. So that's great. Any other comments, concerns? And really quickly, I know again, this wasn't something we had planned for, but Cass had one message she wanted to express from the MOs. So I will cede my time to her.
Okay, yeah. I just got a message from the MO leaders that was here today, and they would like to request that we like write a statement of support or statement of solidarity before Monday. And if we were to make that before Monday, how would we like, vote on that if our next meeting would be next Tuesday?
So for statements of solidarity, because it's not a resolution, we would just sign on, and people who are comfortable with signing on would sign on. If it is a resolution, we would have to wait until next Tuesday. But since it's just a statement, we can write it offline. And this is for any letter in the future that we also write. We can write it offline, and you would just sign on any letter that a student or council member may send, like, please sign on.
Okay, for sure. Thank you so much, Breeze. That makes so much more sense now. I'll be sending more information about that letter in the Slack that I'll be starting with the MOs soon.
Perfect. Thank you so much for Cass. And with that, our meeting is adjourned at 7:57 p.m. Yay.
The recording has stopped.
Okay, and you guys are free to